Hey now, welcome back Pokemon players. This is your friendly neighborhood Bulldogs, and today we're at the Wisconsin Regionals 2014. We're in round 2. We have Andrew Mondak on the left and Seth Budrik on the right. Looks like Andrew Mondak is playing some kind of Darkrai deck, while Seth is playing probably Blastoise, Black Kyurem, Keldeo with whatever techs he usually plays with. Andrew looks like he's starting off first. Starts with an N. Both players shuffle their hands into their decks, draw 6 cards. This is usually a pretty good play to do on any time, but especially at the beginning of the game. It'll mess up whatever plans your opponents had for their turn. It'll give you more cards to work with, and considering that he already played 3 cards out of his 8-card hand, he got to see an additional card during this turn. Unfortunately, there's not a whole heck of a lot he can do with that extra card. Looks like he's playing a Darkrai Yveltal deck. Maybe with, what is that thing? Maybe with Garbodor, but it's definitely Darkrai Yveltal because of that double colorless. Andrew attaches Darkness Energy to his active Darkrai and ends his turn. Seth starts his turn, immediately plays a Tropical Beach, which is right now the most expensive card in the current format. He plays the regular version. And then he plays down a Baby Black Kyurem, which is useful against the Mirror Match and other things, but not sure why he attached the Electric Energy to it at this point. He also Ultra Balls for a Keldeo EX that will allow him to get that Squirtle back onto the bench. Ultra Balls discarding a Delphox and a Superior Energy Retrieval, neither of which are cards he wants to see in his discard pile, but if he's just going to Juniper anyway, getting rid of them is not the worst idea in the world. There's a bunch of Water Energy in his hand right now, and he can't play any of it. Just going to rush in with Keldeo. He can't even use his Beach because he can't play any cards out of his hand. A Beach lets you draw until you have 7 cards in your hand. If you have if you have 7 cards in your hand, it doesn't do anything. Plays Random Receiver, which allows you to flip until you see a supporter card.
And he'll gladly get you guys signed up for one of our side events.
That N will shuffle both players' hands into their decks, and they'll each draw 6 cards. Once again, always useful playing an N early in the game, or late if you're behind on prizes, but I don't think Andrew is planning on being behind on prizes at any point during this game. Seth definitely got an advantage off of that because his hand was full of nothing. He had a lot of Water Energies, and not a lot he could do with them. Excuse me. Andrew draws out his 6 cards, and he sees some things that are going to make him a lot happier. I see an Ultra Ball for using a Dark Energy and either a Switch or a Patch. He's using both a Switch and a Patch for that Ultra Ball. Which probably means that he's going to try and grab a Sableye out of his deck with that Ultra Ball. That Sableye will allow him to get 2 trainer cards out of his discard pile, 2 item cards specifically out of his discard pile, and that's with his attack for the turn. So he's just going to play the Ultra Ball. I don't see a Darkness Energy that he discarded. No, he did discard a Darkness and a Dark Patch. Probably searching either Sableye or the small Yveltal. If I were him, I'd be going for the Sableye because getting stuff back is always good. But he's going to go with the Yveltal instead. Probably to try and get damage out there, because Yveltal's attack isn't going to do anything. There are no Darkness Energies in his discard pile after he plays the Dark Patch that's in his hand. There goes Dark Patch, attaching to the small Eviltall, and he's probably going to retreat at this point. Either that or he's going to energy switch up. But I would just... Going to use Beach for 5 instead. Using Seth's Beach against him. Seth's turn, he draws his card, and I see a regular energy retrieval in there. And I know that this deck plays the regular Black Kyurem, but I haven't seen it. Going to use a Skyla, probably to search his deck for an Ultra Ball, which would get him a Wartortle or a Black Kyurem EX. He's looking for probably the Wartortle at this point. Get a Level Ball to find a Wartortle. Forgot he had a Level Ball in his deck. So since he's played his supporter, he's got an energy in his hand, but I'm not sure he wants to attach that to the Keldeo. I want to attach it to the baby Black Kyurem on the bench. Well, there's another Keldeo that's going onto his bench, and he attaches the water there because never a good idea to waste an energy drop, even in a Blastoise deck. And then he's going to use Tropical Beach to draw his hand back up to 7. And go back over to Andrew's turn. Andrew will play Darkness on the active Darkrai, play an energy switch to get it active. Hypnotoxic Laser automatically poisons. Doesn't put it to sleep because the coin flip was tails. And going to bench a baby Eviltall and a regular Eviltall. And discard the 2 Darkness energies with a Juniper. He's probably hoping for really anything at this point. He just wants to deal damage. I see a Burbank City Gym. I see a Muscle Band, which will make Darkrai deal 140 damage after all of the effects and the poison and all of that. And he's going to deal 30 damage to one of Seth's bench. $30 damage to the benched Keldeo. So now it's Seth's turn, and he has to get that Keldeo out of the active position. Even if he just double rushes in, it'll remove the poison, which he really cannot afford to hold on to anymore. Seth, well, there's a Beach to get rid of the Burbank, so at the very least that Keldeo isn't going to get knocked out this turn. He's going to play an N. Both players shuffle in, draw 6. I don't think I saw a Skyla in his hand. If he did have a Skyla, he would have Skylaed for a Heavy Ball to get the Blastoise into play. But now he's just digging, trying to see if he can get the Blastoise. Even if he can, he still needs to have 5 other cards in order to knock out that Darkrai with Black Kyurem EX, whose Black Ballista takes 4 energies, does 200 damage, and you discard 3 of those energies. I see a Black Kyurem, I see a Blastoise. He drops another water energy on the benched Keldeo. He might just end his turn, although I would still do the double Russian to remove the poison. He wants to force Andrew to try and do a move in order to knock it out. So Seth's just going to Beach to end his turn, and we move over to Andrew's turn. I see some Darkness energies in his hand. I see a Bicycle and a Catcher. So he's going to play a catcher, trying to get the benched. Does he want the Keldeo or the Blastoise? Looking for the Blastoise, because if he has a laser in his hand, that Blastoise goes away. Attaches a basic Dark to his benched Eviltal, and plays a Juniper even though he had another Bike in his hand. He was looking for something very specific. Well, there's his laser, which poisons a Blastoise. Does not put it to sleep. But he did not see a Verbank City Gym, which is going to mean that the Blastoise remains, although probably not for very long. It'll deal 120 damage and 30 to a bench, knocking out the Keldeo and taking 2 prize cards. Back to Seth's turn. He's going to play down a Squirtle. He's going to be looking for an electric energy. I see a Professor's Letter in his hand. Going to play that, search his deck for an electric and a water that he can attach to the black Kyurem on his bench. He has to attach the electric energy for his turn first. Well, he doesn't have to do it first, but he has to announce which one is for his turn and which one is from Deluge. And that black Kyurem EX is now a very powerful Pokemon to play. He's going to play a Skyla because that N was from last turn. He probably should discard the N, but we'll leave that where it is. Looking for a regular energy retrieval, probably because he doesn't have very much energy in the discard pile. He just needs to have 2 in the discard pile, though. Going to attach for his turn. And Deluge to the black Kyurem. Russian. Retreat. Energy retrieval to get back the 2 energies. And then Black Ballista for 200, knocking out the Darkrai and getting rid of all of Andrew's energy in play. Andrew's going to probably send up one of the baby Eviltals, because that'll only take 1 prize if Seth knocks it out. And if Seth doesn't knock it out, that's still more damage that Andrew gets to stack on Seth's Pokemon. However, Andrew just played a catcher and hit, which means that the Blastoise comes up. It has 120 damage on it. Andrew will deal another 30 damage with the Eviltal, and that will be enough to knock out the Blastoise. He's also going to play a Dark Patch to get another energy onto his bench Darkrai. Random Receiver to try and find another supporter. Gets an N. Plays the N. Both players shuffle in. Draw 4. These players have both played this matchup often enough that they pretty much know all the moves before they make them. Like I said, each player draws 4. Still Andrew's turn. Finds an energy switch in his hand. Always useful to have. But there's nothing that he really wants to energy switch at this point. He's going to use Eviltal's Oblivion Wing, which will knock out the Blastoise, and allow him to attach a Darkness energy from his discard pile to one of his benched Darkness Pokemon. Takes a prize because of the knockout. Seth's turn, he sends up the Black Kyurem EX. Skyla, Heavy Ball. That'll be enough to get the second Blastoise into play. I only saw he had one energy in his hand, but I also think he had a superior energy retrieval there. He should have 3 energies in the discard pile. Unfortunately, he can't get back the energy that he discards off of it. But he can get back the 3 energies that he discarded earlier, and he'll check to see if there are any others, but there shouldn't be. It's just the 3 energies, which he'll attack to Black Ballista, and Black Ballista the Eviltal. Either that or he'll attach to the benched Keldeo, but then the other Eviltal will come up and just Evil Ball it into oblivion. So Seth's just going to end his turn by using Tropical Beach. Gets his hand back up to 7, and we're back to Andrew's turn. Andrew, I see, has a pair of Junipers in his hand, and he probably doesn't want to play them this turn. Granted, well, it looks like Andrew's discard pile is starting to get pretty hefty. He's discarded a lot of stuff this game, and he really needs to try and find just one more energy or one more way to get damage onto that Black Kyurem that's active. He's going to play an Ultra Ball, probably to search for... Doesn't have much left in the deck. I know that there's a Sableye in there. It looked like there was a Darkrai. I doubt there will be another Eviltal. Oh no, there is another Eviltal. He plays three of each. Wow. Or maybe it was just 3 Darkrai's and 2 Eviltals. He Ultra Balls for a Sableye. And he's going to Oblivion Wing at some point. There's an energy switch. Move the energy from the Eviltal. Oh, nope, Darkrai. From the Darkrai up to the baby Eviltal, and then he'll Juniper to draw 7. And here comes Eviltal's second attack, which is very rarely used because Oblivion Wing is just so good. That being said, Andrew just needs to start stacking damage on Seth's Pokemon. He needs to force Seth to start attacking and start doing something. 30 damage, while it is something, is really just pecking at the damage and at the HP. Andrew needs to start doing more damage. Going to Dowsing to get back Dark Patch, attach an energy, attack for, I believe it's 100, and keep the energy on himself. You have to flip a coin with Eviltal's second attack. If it's tails, then Eviltal has to discard the energy attached to itself. Still dealing 100 damage is useful. Seth draws his card, attaches to the Keldeo, and rushes in, plays an N. That Keldeo is now pumped up enough to knock out the active Eviltal, but it's also pumped up enough to where the Andrew's benched Eviltal, pretty much no matter what Andrew and Seth do, that benched Eviltal is going to knock out that Keldeo. Seth plays down another Squirtle, deluges another Water Energy onto the benched Black Kyurem EX, trying to set up Andrew for a big Black Ballista next turn. Andrew just spending a little bit of time counting up the damage, but that's more than enough to knock out the Keldeo. So he's going to play the energy to the active. He might play the bike that's in his hand. Either that or he's just gonna end his turn and wait and see what Seth does with his extra turn. Well, there's the Muscle Band. Laser, although I'm not sure why he needed to do that. 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yveltal's first attack, Evil Ball, costs a dark and a colorless, and does 20 damage plus 20 more damage for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. So in this case, it would do 140 damage, and I don't even think he needed to Hypnotoxic Laser to get that knockout. He could have just straight Evil Balled, and considering that he had that bike in his hand, I'm surprised that he played both the Muscle Band and the Laser to get that knockout. Well, go back to Seth's turn. He's got a Superior Energy Retrieval off of a Skyla. It's going to manually retreat the Black Ballista. It's going to use the... what is it? The Superior Energy Retrieval. Discards 2 cards, pull back 4 energy. One of them is an Electric Energy. And then he's going to use Black Ballista to knock out the active Yveltal EX. Now back to Andrew's turn. He's going to push that Darkrai.
That better? Better. I have mine. Do you have the hotspot? That would be nice to use. You have the hotspot. Well, we're all connected to it. I can connect up to 10 and it's got 7. Okay, can you connect that? Yeah, we can. Okay. Be back up to test. Because we figured out how to go stuff. The internet is still very bad.
Got that Laser. Black Ballista's asleep. And I think that Seth is out of Keldios that he can use to get out of the active. Seth still digging, trying to find one card that'll help him out. I'm surprised that he didn't bench the Darkrai to try and get an extra card off of the Bicycle that he played. But he's got the Darkness Energy that he needed that will attach to the active Darkrai. Yep. And Darkrai is going to hit for 120 to the Black Ballista and 30 damage to a bench, which is the Baby Black Kyurem. Seth now has to flip to see if he wakes up, and this is a flip that could potentially decide the game. Heads, Black Kyurem wakes up. There's a Juniper, which lets him discard his hand, draw 7. Looking for a Superior, which he doesn't get. And at this point, there's really not much that Seth can do. He used up one of his Superior Energy Retrievals very early in the game, and that's probably what's going to... Yep. Seth concedes game 1 to Andrew. Andrew takes game 1. Seth will decide who goes first on game 2. Probably Seth. Seth was just checking to see how many turns he would have needed to survive in order to get to his Superior Energy Retrieval. He just ran out of energy retrievals. That was the big thing. So now they're both going to shuffle up and draw draw out their second game. So we come back in game 2. Seth decides to go first. He plays down a beach, and Skyla's to get Ultra Ball, discarding an Electric and a Juniper, probably to grab a Squirtle. I'm not sure why he wouldn't just grab the level ball that he got last game, but he might have seen that it was prized. And if it is prized, that's a huge blow for Seth. That means that he has to discard a lot more in order to get all the things that he needs. But he does have the beach in play, and now he does have a Squirtle turn 1. And unless Andrew gets really, really lucky, that Squirtle's probably going to stick for this turn. There are no more cards. Doesn't look like there are any more cards that Seth can play for this turn. So he's just going to beach to draw 4. And we're back to Andrew's turn. Going to start off with an Ultra Ball, discarding, 2 Ultra Balls? Goodbye 3 Ultra Balls, and that's going to be probably an Eviltal EX. And I see there's a double colorless and an N. Both players shuffle their hand in, draw until they get 6. In order for Andrew to attack this turn, he's going to need a lot of things to go right, and I doubt he's going to get all of them. I mean, if he gets Dark Patch, Ultra Ball, Switch, but that's a lot of cards to get out of a hand of 6. And I also doubt that Andrew will play a Switch in his deck. He's already attached from his hand for this turn. Yep. So he's he's played Verbank, getting rid of the beach. Accidentally flips over his prize card. These are just going to have Seth shuffle up the prizes, and said he doesn't know where the prizes are. I mean, at this point in the game, both players already know what all their prizes are, or at least they should, if they've been searching their deck correctly. So now we're back to Seth's turn, who draws a card. There is a rare candy that he top decked, and he had a heavy ball in his hand, which means out comes Blastoise. And Seth still has at least 5 cards in his hand that he can use to try and get more stuff. There's the candy. I see a Keldeo in his hand. There goes 2 energies to Keldeo. And he's just going to end his turn. Back to Andrew's turn. Draws his card. I see his Random Receiver, which will get him an N. Shuffle that Darkness Energy back in. He's going to attach a Darkness Energy from his hand to one of his Pokemon. There's to the active Eviltal. He's just going to use Oblivion Wing for 30. He doesn't want to play that N because he knows that Seth doesn't have very much going for him. Seth top decks Level Ball, which will allow him to get something out of his deck. And really, big thing there is just shuffling his deck. Re-randomizing it, hopefully getting more draw cards to the top. He has 2 cards remaining in his hand, and I'm guessing neither one of them is going to help him at this point. I see a Superior Energy Retrieval, and I think the other one was a Tool Scrapper. Back to Andrew's turn. And he's really just going to spend his time slow playing this. He's going to spend time not trying not to deal, not to play ends. He wants to find a Juniper right now. And that Juniper will allow him to discard the end that's in his hand, draw 7 cards, and possibly get enough to knock out the Kyurem that's active. I also see a catcher in his hand that he's not going to use, which is an interesting choice. I would have at least tried the catcher to bring up the Keldeo, get rid of a couple energies that are in play, or maybe bring up the Fennekin, get rid of his draw power. There's a laser. Black Kyurem is now asleep and poisoned, and with Verbank in play, the Yveltal will be dealing quite a bit of damage. Yveltal is just going to Oblivion Wing for 30 damage and another 30 damage from poison. Take a Darkness Energy out, attach it to the benched Yveltal, and Black Kyurem is back awake. So now Seth draws his card, Russian, retreat, force Andrew to actually have to do something in order to knock out the Black Kyurem, but really a lot of damage has been done right now. Is going to retreat the baby Yveltal into the grown-up Yveltal. He has not yet attached an energy, and he'll bench the other Yveltal, attach a Darkness to the active, hit it for 90, and bring that Darkness energy back to a benched Yveltal. Now we're over to Seth's turn, who still has not gotten a draw card in a really long time. However, that Beach will make things a lot better for him. Drops a Beach, draws 5 to get him up to 7, and we go back over to Andrew's turn. Andrew will start by benching a Darkrai. There are 2 Dark Patches and a Hypnotoxic Laser. Andrew already knows that he has a knockout on the active, so he's just going to take it. And it's Seth's turn. He sends up the Fennekin because it has an easier retreat cost than Keldeo. Also, he knows that he has a good amount of energy in the discard pile. Going to attach a water to the active, play an N. I might have tried the letter to try and get more water onto the Keldeo, but clearly the Keldeo isn't his attacking force at this point. He might have been better off attaching that water energy to the active Fennekin, just in case off of that end he draws the cards that he needs in order to get the Black Kyurem rolling correctly. That end shuffles both players' hands into their decks. Andrew will draw 3, Seth will draw 6. There's a Squirtle. I see a Delphox in his hand. Also see a Superior. I see a Professor Letter. Professor Letter would allow him to get to... okay. He's going to leave the Fennekin active. Oh, here comes Keldeo. Comes back to Seth's turn, and he's still trying to dig for a Black Kyurem. There's a Wartortle, and there's the Black Kyurem. I know that there's a Professor Letter in his hand, which will allow him to get out the Electric Energy and a Water Energy, which he'll attach both of them to the Black Kyurem. The Electric Energy is his attachment for the turn. Water Energy is his attachment from Deluge. Going to retreat the active Keldeo to get 4 energies into his discard pile, which he can then Superior Energy Retrieval out. Yep. There comes Black Kyurem. Superior Energy Retrieval, discarding the Blastoise and probably the Delphox. There's no way that he has enough. But his Fennekin's discarded. Why wouldn't he discard the Delphox off of that? Unless he runs 2 Fennekins? Well, he's just going to deluge the 2 to the active, deluge 2 to the benched Keldeo, which I'm not sure I would have done that second part. Held on to them so that you can use more stuff next turn. But either way, Seth takes the knockout on the active Eviltal, and Andrew has 2 energies left in play. He's going to send up the baby Eviltal, which will help him get more energies back into play. And I see a Darkrai that's in his hand, but he's probably not going to bench that. There's no need for him to have 3 Darkrai's in play, ready to get powered up. There's a Dark Patch to attach to the Darkrai. Free retreat into Darkrai. Energy switch. Ultra Ball. Random receiver to find an N, or just to get something that he doesn't want in the deck out of the deck. Maybe he's trying to see what's in the deck. I don't know. There's a Juniper. That's not what he wanted to see off of that. He wanted to see a N, but either way, it's not that bad because he just Ultra Balls that, gets 2 cards out of his deck, puts his Sableye into play, and then he's going to play that last Juniper that's in his hand, get himself 7 new cards. He's hoping to find a Laser Bank, which will put a lot of damage onto that active Black Kyurem. He's also might be looking for a Muscle Band. There's the Laser. There's the Energy. I see a Laser Bank in there. I also think I saw a Dark Patch. The Professor Letter to get 2 Darkness Energies out of his deck. He's playing a lot more quickly now. I think he thinks he has this game won. And it's just 90 to the active and then another 30 to the bench. He realizes that the Black Kyurem doesn't need to get all that damage soaked onto it. It just needs to have enough as to where any one of Andrew's benched Pokemon can knock it out. Seth just drew a Superior Energy Retrieval. And there's a Tool Scrapper in his hand, but that Tool Scrapper isn't going to mean very much. I still don't know why he's trying to hold on to that Delphox. That Delphox really is not doing anything for him at this point. Again, unless he has something that means that, he's missing something. I don't know why he would hold on to that. Or you could just, Dowsing Machine into an N. That's useful. Dumps Andrew down to just 2 cards in hand, while Seth has now 4. And Andrew will now lose pretty much all the energy he has in play. He has 1 on the Eviltal, but that Eviltal will need a lot of help in order to deal the 90 damage to knock out the active Black Kyurem. Black Kyurem gets knocked out, and Andrew needs to send up one of his bench. He's going to send up the small Black Kyurem, the non-EX. Dark Patch onto the Eviltal. Drops a Muscle Band. Plays Bike to draw 4. It's not yet attached in energy this turn. Attaches it, Dark Patch, retreat into Eviltal, and attacks with Evil Ball for the game. That, I believe, is 2 games to Andrew, no games to Seth. Andrew wins this match and will move on undefeated to round 3. Seth will drop to 1-1 and basically needs to win out in order to make top 8 in this very crowded field. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you next time.